Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another fine, splendid, amazing episode of the Basement Outback podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Aurora XD, and I'm joined here, as always, with Soaring Sloth.
It is me, the Soaring Sloth.
And today we're here with Jermy145. They are a Tetris streamer on Twitch, also does some video stuff on YouTube, and just a good friend of mine over the last couple years at least. I'm not sure when specifically we met, but maybe 2020, 2021, around there. But super cool guy. Glad to talk with him today. I guess I'll just open up the conversation with I guess you're allowed to introduce yourself as well, but also just give us a kind of a rundown of your history with either Tetris, just the whole like umbrella of Tetris games. Like, how'd you start? How old were you when you started? And, you know, how many years of experience have you had?
Okay, sure. Oh, gosh. How do I introduce myself? Well, how do I even describe what I do on Twitch?
What are you?
What is this man?
Yeah, what is this man? Well, yeah, I guess the best way to describe me is that I am a Tetris player. And sometimes I stream it and I ramble while I do T-spins and other funny moves in the game. And occasionally throw in some music there too. It all started back, maybe, has it been 5 years now? I was just watching my sister play Tetris one day, and I decided to say, like, I want to beat you at this game. So then I created an account on Tetris Friends, and I started playing the game, and I got better than my sister much quickly than she did, and joke's on me, I am now the one with the crippling Tetris addiction. It didn't last too long because Tetris Friends actually ended up getting shut down a few months after I started playing. It was my goal to become like the top rank on that website, and I think they went from like rank 1 to rank 20, and all you had to do was just like win 5 games in a row in order to promote and stuff. But so I was pretty like heartbroken when I achieved rank 20, and then the site just shut down, and I was no longer able to get my Tetris fix. And I think maybe a month or two later, I was just kind of having that Tetris craving. And then I was just searching up like Tetris clients that were free online. And I stumbled upon Tetris. And I kind of like fell in love with how minimalistic it looks. And I know a lot of people, they like other Tetris games because like, oh, the graphics and the sound design and all the other like fancy visual effects, like that draws them in. But for me, I enjoy the simplistic kind of look of Tetris. And I spent maybe a year and a half just banging out 9-0 and doing as many quads as I could, as quickly as I could on Tetris. And I think it was maybe about, at that time, like I was starting to take the game a bit more serious, and I was like spending a lot of time like playing the game. I started playing during class, actually, and it got to the point where my friend would tell me like, hey, can you stop playing because you banging on the keys is like distracting me from taking notes in class and stuff. And that's kind of when I knew that I might be addicted to this game. I would say starting to stream this game really kind of took things to the next level, right? I wouldn't describe myself as like a great player before I started streaming. All I wanted to ever be was like as fast as possible and stuff. But when I started streaming and then people started tuning in, that's like when I started learning about like the world outside of just like doing the noob strategy of like stacking in 9 columns and leaving the last column open, as everybody starts out doing. So let me talk a bit about like how I even started streaming in the first place. So I'd been playing Tetris for maybe about 2 years at this time, and none of my friends ever wanted to play with me. I don't understand why. It's a free game, you know, you can play with your friends. The games you can like hop in and exit whenever you want, and there's like no repercussions. It's like low commitment, right? Not like a game of League of Legends or Valorant that can like last like an hour long. So I didn't have any friends who would want to play this game with me. So I went to the only place, you know, that you could find friends, and I went to Twitch. And I was seeing if like other people were streaming this game. And I think it was like a late night, like maybe like 3 a.m. or something. I was just like practicing Tetris on my own, and I decided to check out the Tetris category on Twitch. And I saw this like one girl, and she was streaming the game, and I just like clicked in, and I was so nervous to like say hi or whatever. But I decided to like just say like, hi, what's going on? Can like we play together? Or like I said like I'm in the lobby with you. And then it was just like really nice to connect with somebody else. I'm just like, I can't believe like I'm talking to a stranger, and you know, like we're bonding over our love for this game, and over our hobby, and that really kind of inspired me. I'm like, well, you know, if it was this fun just like talk to like one other person that plays this game, then I think I should try to go meet other people and talk about this game, and we could bond over that. And I think like maybe just like a week later, I just like installed OBS. I told my friends who I was in a call with, I'm like, I'm gonna go stream. I'm gonna go live right now. I had no idea what I was doing, right? I had no idea how to balance sound. Like I was using like my laptop microphone or something. I didn't have a webcam or anything like that. I just like pressed go live, right? And that was just like such a interesting experience. I actually got like one person to like come in that wasn't just like my friend or something, and he just like stayed and we talked about the game, and I was just like, this is really cool. Yeah. From then on, like some like really like strong players would just like drop by the stream, and then that kind of made me want to get better and also like learn more stuff. Like they kind of like said like, oh, you can do these strategies, or they would say like, oh, I noticed that this part of your gameplay is like not a good habit or something like that. And having an audience made me want to play more, and also made me want to get better at the game. And then yeah, I think I spent probably like an hour every single day for like 2 or 3 years playing Tetris. And I think that definitely contributed to how quickly how quickly I improved at the game and stuff like that. I think the next thing that like made me get a lot better at the game was discovering Tetrio. I had seen it, like somebody pointed it out, like, oh, there's this new Tetris game when I was playing in the Gestris lobbies and stuff, and I went to go check it out. It was like the newest and coolest thing. It had like music, it had these cool sound effects. You know, they had these different mechanics, and it had like dedicated matchmaking. And I looked at it and I left it alone for a year because I didn't like the way it controlled. I missed all the like the simplistic and what's the word, minimalistic look of Gestris, and I left it alone for a year. And I came back to it a year later because I'd seen a lot of people streaming it on Twitch and stuff, and then getting into the more ranked matchmaking kind of made me want to get better at the game, because I saw like, oh, there's an actual dedicated leaderboard, and there's some people who are really strong here. And I think it was during one of these matches that I was playing that somebody opened my eyes to T-spins and stuff. They were like, like we played the match and I lost to them, and then they said like, oh, you're really fast, but you're not efficient at all. And then they asked me like, do you know about like these techniques like called openers? And I'm like, no, dude, all I do is go fast. And they said,
what's an opener?
Yeah, what is an opener? Shall I explain?
I still don't even know the answer to that question, to be honest with you, and I've been playing for over 2 years now.
Oh, wait. Wait, you're just kidding, right? That's a joke. Okay.
No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
I am what they call an opener main.
Yeah.
I very much rely on the opener to win. Yeah, go ahead and explain it for any non-Tetris viewers.
Yeah, okay. So basically in Tetris, you got like the funny pieces, right? There's 7 of them, and in modern Tetris, they give you those 7 pieces in a random order. So this is called the 7-bag randomizer, because you get a random order of the 7 pieces before you see another bag of 7 pieces. Because at the beginning of the game, you always have nothing on your board, and you always get one of each of the 7 pieces, you can kind of look at the first few pieces and then decide how you want to build a specific pattern. You can kind of rely that on getting one of each piece. And with that, people have like crafted and theorized the strongest and most efficient openers. And basically this guy told me, hey, you should go learn some openers. And he told me about this opener called TKI, which nets you the most T-spins, or teaches you basically how to set up T-spins and stuff. And then from then on, I was just like fascinated. I was just like, well, T-spins are so cool. I'm going to learn this and I'm going to become the very best. Spoiler alert, I did not become the very best. I'm still very far from it. But yeah, that was kind of like my intro into getting more serious about the game and stuff. The last few years have been a bit of a blur because I've been streaming for 2 years now, and I still remember starting on Tetrio and being placed into SS rank, and now I'm here at X rank, and I'm kind of like looking back at the journey that it took to get to this point. This is a bit weird. I wasn't expecting to have to recount my whole progress all the way here to this point. I don't know. Like, getting better just kind of came with the love for the game, and the love for the game came from bonding with other people and stuff.
Yeah, no, it's crazy looking back though, right? Because like I had to do this when I made my first Tetrio video, and it's crazy like how far you've come from when you started.
Yeah. Oh gosh, and like all the different people I've met along the way, and I think about like all the random pros that just drop in the stream, and then they just impart their knowledge on you. Meeting players that are better than yourself certainly inspires you to get like better at the game. Yeah, like I said, like kind of like the last year has been like a blur because, you know, it's hard to pinpoint exactly when you started improving. It's hard to see, guy. It's hard to look back and connect the dots sometimes. Maybe if you guys have some specific questions, like that might help me.
Please tell us about your personal life and everything that's happened.
Yes. What is your home address specifically? No.
You have to let everybody know. You cannot back out of this.
Oh god.
On a more serious note, I did want to kind of pinpoint, just out of curiosity, I guess for my own sake, like how long have you been X rank now? Because that's a big achievement. Like even though there is a long way to go within X rank itself, because it is like, you know, the top 1% is going to be different from the top 0.01%. You know, there's still a big difference. But like, how long have you been X rank?
I think I achieved X rank in October or November of 2021. So that makes it just like what's that?
Coming up on 2 years.
Yeah, coming up, it's like a year and 9 months ish, 9 or 10 months. So I usually just round, I say about 2 years. And in that time, it's like it's kind of crazy because I feel like 2 years ago I was like a much worse player, but I'm still like kind of the same rank technically, and it's interesting to see like how after I achieved the top rank of the game, how much room there was still for improvement, and how far I still am from the top and stuff.
Yeah, just for the viewers, I'm looking at the Tetrio channel right now, and Jeremy is currently for Tetrio viewers 24,778 TR, and that's the top 0.65%. So about like a third of the way up X rank, still in the bottom half, but getting like towards the halfway mark. And I don't that's probably a bit from your all-time high, I'm sure.
I think it's pretty close, maybe like 10 TR difference or something.
Oh really? How much TR do you get per game?
Usually if I win, I'll earn maybe like between like 8 to 12 TR per win. It kind of depends. It's a little bit wonky depending on who you match against and who you like, whether you're a lot higher ranked than them or the rank discrepancy is like really big. Sometimes I match against top 100 players and I lose 1 TR. And yeah,
that's something I almost have already started to miss, is because for those that don't know, like the rank system in Tetrio works off a logarithmic scale. So that means both the very, I guess not really the low end, but once you get past a certain point, past SS, the amount of TR you gain per game will decrease. Like the theoretical max gets lower and lower and lower. And it becomes to where like once you get to X rank, it almost becomes like a flat curve where you're barely earning any, but it's still like I don't really know how else to explain it, but it just works. Like I don't know. It's like as you approach the theoretical max in Tetrio is like 25,000 TR. So the closer you get to that, the less you'll earn up till that amount. Right? So it's like the curve will start sharp and then slow down more and more and more. And that's why you have like, you know, X rank players are so insane because it takes like so much more time investment in the game to get to that point. And even like high X players like have, you know, like at least like 1,000 hours on the game or something because it's just like it's harder to move forward the higher up you get. You know, you really have to prove that you're like good enough to move forward. Like I'm in low U rank, which is like top 4 to 5% where I am right now, and it's already like scary to me, like how insane it gets, like how fast people are to react to stuff. Tetrio is definitely like built for the most like fast-paced competitive play though, which for a lot of people, especially if you like fast-paced games, is really really nice because all the effects and stuff, it really makes it like a magical, like a whimsical experience when you're playing. It's fun.
I mean, even like casually, at least from the times I've played it, I really enjoyed like, you know, getting like a band of like 6 or 8 friends together in a private lobby and just going to town. Because I don't know, the Tetra.io client is just really fun to use.
Yeah, it is. I think it's funny you mentioned that because I was thinking like Sloth, you still like you play Tetrio, but it's very you know, it's a game that's welcoming to people who just want to play in like maybe Zen mode just to place pieces, like not racing against the clock. But like it can be any degree of competitive that you want it to be. Like you can make a lobby and have people join it and just 1v1 people for fun. You can go into full on Tetra League, and you know that's going to be like the try hard, sweaty players you're playing against. But it's like it's really nice because I've pretty much convinced almost anybody I've asked to play with before to at least install it and just play like, you know, Zen mode, and you don't have to, you know, worry about like the super try hard players, because I think that's intimidating to a new player, right? It's like you just downloaded the game and you go into a quick play lobby and you see like the best of the best. There's like 10 X ranked people battling each other, and it's really like scary
Yeah,
for a new player because they're like, am I expected to play that good? Like you know, they might even be like, these guys are hacking. Like that's not, like a real human can't do that. And I had the same kind of reaction at first, but I was fortunate enough to, you know, I was streaming it while I was doing this, and there were people that helped me and was like, hey, like you should, you know, play Zen 40 line, and then I got into everything else. But it's, I think it really is welcoming to everybody, but that can be intimidating at the same time.
Yeah.
What I want to talk about is that I find that competitive, like Tetris, is kind of weird in a way that like you guys watch competitive like video games, right? I don't know, like maybe let's say fighting games.
Yeah.
I find it like something that I don't really like about Tetris, competitive Tetris, is like you never really see like insane upsets. It's actually overwhelming, the skill gap between each rank. And like for example, like I sometimes I watch Smash, like Melee and stuff, and like, you know, there's sometimes like a totally unnamed player will just like upset like a really strong player, like a top 100 player or something like that. But stuff like that never happens at all in Tetris. Like people who are in the top 100 will not lose to somebody who's like in like low X rank or something like that, right? So let's say like a top 500 player will not even like take a game off of a top 100 player. And I don't know, sometimes I feel like the skill gap, or the way that Tetris kind of works, is in like that you can like just be like outspeed your opponent and just completely overwhelm them. I don't really like it as a competitive game in that regard. That there's never any upsets at all.
I didn't even think about that, actually. Like, Tetris kind of is the only game I can think of where an upset like that can't really happen, because, yeah, it's mostly just, like, you know, whoever is the faster player usually comes out on top. But, like, even, wow. I'm kind of, like, my mind's blown just, like, thinking about it right now, because, like, I didn't think that hard about it. I'm just like, wow, you're absolutely right about that.
Yeah, I think that's, like, the ranked ladder in Tetrio is pretty well organized. It's percentile based. So, you know, U rank will be top 5 to 1%. X rank is top 1%. SS will be top 11% to 5%. And because you have like very specific brackets, the tournaments, even if they're like underdog tournaments, right? Like you have the underdog cup. The people left at the end will all be probably within the same rank. If the cap is SS, they're all going to be SS people. But even then, like the last fights are usually pretty close because it's so specific, right? That like you're gonna be, it's usually really fun to watch because it'll be like a tiebreaker match, or you know somebody usually doesn't get swept, like immediately. Usually. But I get what he's saying. Yeah, it's like you don't see any big upsets like that. But I think it really, I have to give Tetrio credit where credit is due. Like the rank system is really well made. Like I you do get some weird, like some crazy players who will just kind of do their own thing, like they aren't playing in a conventional way, but they're still better than you. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
Where it's like,
Mhm.
I don't know. It's just like they play in an unexpected way. Like you get used to seeing everybody does like, T spins or whatever, and then you'll get a person that just like four wides nonstop, and you're like, I'm not used to playing against this person. But other than that, like it is, for the most part, I feel really fair. I usually don't get tilted in TL, especially now because I feel towards the higher ranks it starts balancing out a lot better.
Yeah, I think when you get better at the game, you're also a bit more equipped to deal with whatever strategy your opponent throws at you, so you don't get like completely blindsided by like, oh, this person's using a strategy I've never completely unprepared for. So it becomes like as you get stronger, then you will not get get caught off guard as much.
Right. Yeah, I remember being like A plus rank, and I got hit with my first stick spin from my opponent, and literally just freaked out. Like I didn't know what to do, and I don't know how much damage that sends, but it's at least half a board's worth. So if you have nothing prepared, yeah, you're kind of done. But like by the time I was SS, I like found that, oh, I can just send a T spin for every one they send, and it just cancels it out. Like it's like magic, and then I don't have to worry. I can just work on my stack. And, most of those players anyway, and I can confirm I'm an opener main. If they like misdrop their opener or expected to kill and it doesn't, and they just sit there for a second, that's your time to. They have a weakness also, is what you learn. Like almost every play style usually has some sort of weakness, unless you get like, like really high X players are just, so well rounded, it's like going to be a lot harder. But well, I didn't want this episode to get like super technical, but also I did want to ask you, Jeremy, about just general, like for people who either haven't ever played any Tetris game or have maybe played it enough to like they know how to place blocks, but they haven't taken it like taken the real time investment into it. Like advice you would give to them, or just both, I guess, convincing people to maybe pick up the game and give it another try, or just basic coaching advice, like common misconceptions you see with how people play, and might discourage them from ever playing again because they think it's like a them problem, but it's like really just a simple fix, that kind of thing.
So you're asking for encouragement for new players as well as tips for new players or people looking to improve.
Yeah,
bold.
Okay. So
that's a big one, I know.
Yeah, like what can I say? Like I love this game to bits, right? And what is it that keeps me coming back and logging in and playing every day?
In other words, what are people missing out on who aren't playing Tetris right now?
I think it comes like, how some people get like very satisfied with like tidying the room or something. People get satisfaction out of seeing things arranged neatly, I believe. Not everybody, but like most people do, right? That's why people love watching like those those oddly satisfying videos, or people like games such as unpacking, right? Or that's why people like seeing like an orderly room, right? And I think Tetris kind of takes that and then it puts it in its like simplest form. It's just like putting shapes together, putting pieces together in a way that they fit together, right? We teach kids like to sort blocks by shape and put blocks together. And I think it kind of draws on that feeling where, seeing things fit together just gives you that oddly satisfying feeling. And Tetris is the rawest form of that. So for those of you who just like to see like a perfect square, right? Or build that perfect square, or maybe people who like to put puzzles together and see the whole thing come together, like I think that Tetris might be the game that you're looking for. It might just be the game for you to sink many, many hours into. And for players who are new and they find that it's not quite as simple as, just put block where block fits, I encourage you to just take it a bit at a time, right? I think for anything that you want to learn long term and improve at, you have to keep in mind that you have to practice something every day, like an hour every day, if you want to get better at it. This is something that I did for Tetris, something that I also did in music. And I've been doing music for, I don't know, God knows how long, 15 plus years. I think that people see the top and then they kind of don't see all the hundreds or maybe even thousands of hours that people put in to make things look easy. Whenever I do a replay review for somebody, I always give them the disclaimer that like the things that I show you come from thousands of hours experience or hundreds of hours experience. So don't be discouraged when you don't learn things right away, but also trust that as long as you keep putting the time in, you will learn things. And another adage or like another saying that I like to say is fast is slow, slow is smooth, and then smooth is fast. So that means that if you try to go fast right away, you will be slow. But if you go slow, then you'll get things smoothly. And then eventually, when you do things smoothly, they become fast again. So it's kind of like a bit of a circular saying.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh, yeah, I like that a lot. I didn't even think about that.
And I really like that saying because I think it's kind of exemplified in Tetris because people will tend to try to go fast, right? They see like, oh, I'm getting attacked. I'm getting incoming garbage. Oh, I'm at the top of the board. I need to go faster because faster is better. And faster means I get out of the situation faster, which leads to them quickly making a lot of mistakes. And you have to go slow before you go fast. And for those who want more like practical advice, like what should I practice? I would say focus on using the current piece that you have as well as the next two in queue, because planning for where the next piece goes or like thinking about what your next setup is going to be while you're executing your current setup is the mark of a good Tetris player, right? They don't think just about like, where does this piece need to go? But they think about, hey, if I put this piece here, how's that going to impact where my next piece or the next two pieces or next three pieces are going to go? Learning to look ahead will make you a better player. So for those of you who want something practical to practice or something tangible to do, go play by yourself in a single player mode, right? Don't give yourself the extra stress of fighting against another player, right? Go into a single player mode and then practice stacking and looking at the next few pieces and then building a plan for that and then putting them all down. And then once you've executed that plan for your next three pieces, do it again. Look at the next three pieces, think about where you want to put all three of them, and put them down. Practice in short bursts like this, and that will set you up with some good muscle memory and some good decision making that will translate into when you play against another human player and not just a CPU.
Yeah, I really like that. I resonate with that a lot because I kind of started as a fast player. I guess faster than usual. I was like 0.8 PBS. I've seen a lot of early players start like 0.4, 0.5 PBS or less. But just the thing you said about like reading the piece queue, very, very important. I mean, I play now like towards, when I'm doing really good, like 9-0 stack, I'll be going like 3 PBS. But I've tested myself where like, okay, I'm going to go into this like custom mode. I'm going to remove the piece queue so I can only see the very next piece. And I slow down so much. I don't realize how much, a lot of new players might see how fast like the really good players are playing. A lot of just knowing where to place it comes from they've already been practicing with predicting those next 3 or 4 pieces, and like reading the queue. And you can get to where you don't have to take your eyes off of the board. You can literally stare directly at the board and read it out of your peripheral vision. Like, because you're associating the blocks with colors as well. I don't think a lot of like super new players realize that. Like the reasons people can play like super fast, get like way up there with speed is reading it like without having to look directly at it even, which is like a superpower I didn't even know like was in me until I really started committing to it. And it's crazy. It does feel like you have a superpower. It's like it's a really underappreciated thing that you got to practice is just knowing, not just let me place this piece down and not think about anything else, but like let me work with the combination I have and make something that fits nicely together. And it's like what you were saying about that satisfaction of having like everything come together and then like completing like a neat square before you, or a rectangle before you send your Tetris That's what it's all about, like in its basic form. Just like the fitting everything together is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
That's right. Yeah, I think seeing the lines, seeing your plan, or visualizing a plan, executing it, and then seeing it like top out your opponent is a great feeling. Because everything you did was like, that was all you. That was your plan. Like you outbrained and you outsped your opponent too. Yeah.
So I guess if you just wanted to give, well, I guess some of that was advice, but if you had some advice for people who were already playing, maybe in the lower rank B, A, maybe even to the lower S ranks, who were struggling with, because I've gotten this from a couple viewers lately, which is like they've put time into the game and they've progressed very rapidly, and then they slow down and they just haven't been able to get past the rank they're at. Like, what are some solutions or things to at least look at, maybe look into about the way they're playing that might be able to help?
Some general tips that I have for people who are struggling to increase the rank. Watch your replays and then try to identify where your own mistakes were. And oftentimes the mistake that you'll see when you're not in the heat of the moment is like covering up your own well, right? I highly, highly encourage that people watch their own replays, see where their own down stacking was inefficient or was insufficient to get them out of the like a vulnerable and losing position. Use the exact same pieces, right? And then try to spot an alternate solution, right? I think this will increase your vision. Like you'll be able to see how to use pieces in new ways, right? You'll start to think about using pieces in tandem with the next piece or the next two pieces together, right? Sometimes, like you can't just look at every single piece in like a vacuum. You have to think about, what am I going to do with my next two pieces? And then I would also encourage them to learn how to do some SRS moves such as Z and S spins. Those ones are also some tips and tricks that will get you out of many sticky situations. For those who are struggling with sending enough damage and going on the offensive, I would encourage you to stop skimming, which is clearing a single line at a time. And for those of you who don't play Tetris, when you clear a single line, it sends nothing to your opponent, right? The game really pushes you to build up for a Tetris, which is just clearing 4 lines at once with a long piece, or to do T-spins, which also sends a lot of lines. So a lot of people are skimming without even realizing that that's what they're doing, and they're just wasting away the lines that they've so carefully built up.
I still do that now, by the way. Even in U rank, it
happens like all the way up until even X rank. There's some people who will, like, if they start panicking, they just start clearing lines as soon as they see them instead of saving them up for a big attack later on. It comes from when people default to whatever they practice the most, or when they panic and then they stop thinking straight, then they start panic clearing and skimming their lines. So you have to calm down. I don't care if you even have to like take a deep breath and say it out loud. Slow down, stop skimming, do whatever it takes to keep yourself focused and to stay in control rather than just letting the panic take over. And kind of what I was about to say, what I was saying there, like, oh, I don't care whatever strategy you need to do to get yourself to play in a better way. I also think that there's no one right way to play, and there's no one right mentality and approach to every single problem. I think that you can arrive at the same decision through multiple reasonings and stuff. What I mean by this, like, I was writing a replay review for a friend, and basically kind of teaching them, like, how do you decide where to put your piece, right? I said, like, you can either approach it by trying to keep your stack as flat as possible. You can think about it as waiting for the most optimal piece instead of just putting whatever piece will just fit there in the moment. Or you could also approach stacking as avoiding dependencies, which is like building your stack in such a way that you can only use one piece to fill in a gap, right? And I said, I don't really care which of these mentalities or which of these like fits your playstyle the most. Whichever one gets you to stack in a more flat way is the strategy you should go with, right? So I guess that's another word for another word of advice for other players. Like, you don't have to do things exactly as other players did. Just find the strategy that works for you, and refine that strategy. Nobody plays the exact same way. Nobody thinks the exact same way. You might look at the same board and have the exact same pieces and come up with a completely different plan than another player, and both of them are okay.
Well said. Well said, Mr. Jeremy. I guess I'll kind of, you've covered a lot of this stuff, but I wanted to kind of direct the last part of this episode towards you. If you had like anything else that I didn't say that you wanted to cover, or even not at all, that's fine. But just anything we didn't cover that you want to talk about.
Yeah, so I've talked enough about Tetris, and I'm sure that most of your listeners are very big on speedrunning, because I know that's what you guys do. And I myself, yeah, you've been known to dabble in a bit of speedrunning.
We do dabble a little bit.
It is part of our interests.
Yeah, they do partake. So I wanted to ask you guys, because I myself am not a speedrunner, right? And I think it's interesting, but I don't think it's for me. I would like to know what got you guys into speedrunning. Maybe you could share about like the first game that you were speedrunning. I don't know if you guys like started with the same game, but yeah, I just kind of like to know about your guys' history with the hobby.
I think
I'll let Sloth take this one honestly first, and then I'll reciprocate.
It's funny. I think my history with speedrunning definitely started in a weird spot. I was going through my first semester of university. Unfortunately, it did not go that well, and at least like the day of, like, I actually found out that a game I was interested in just dropped. I feel like I have to clarify. This game was Deltarune Chapter 1. I still remember that night vividly. Like, it just got shadow dropped. The world like went like crazy over it, and I'm just like, I was one of those people that really enjoyed it. And within like the next couple days, I got the urge to try speedrunning it, just for like on a just for fun. And that's actually how I got into Twitch streaming too. So it was more of just like on the whim. I met like some friends that were interested in speedrunning it as well, and the rest was just kind of history from there. Like, I just kind of got the itch to speedrun most games that I mostly grew up with and wanted to have an excuse to replay. So it was more of just like, all right, if there was a game I wanted to replay, I considered speedrunning it, and if it clicked with me, I went further with it. So overall, very pleasant experience, but obviously take a step back when need be. Speedrunning can get tilting at times if you are a bit dedicated to the grind, but overall I think it's a very enjoyable experience if you're into the more hardcore aspect of playing a video game. But what about you, Aurora?
Yeah, well, first I wanted to respond to like I swear this memory was like way deep in my subconscious until like you just mentioned Deltarune, but I remember it was also my first year of uni. It also didn't go well, right? Same boat there. And we were all sitting around. I forget what we were doing. I think we were about to get dinner somewhere like on campus. And I was with two of my friends, and one of them was on Twitter, and they were like, "Yo, they just made like another like game like Undertale. It's called Deltarune, and they got it off like you could download it off the site, and we put it up on the big TV, and we're all playing it, and we're just like, it was a very fond memory because we didn't finish the game, but we were there for like an hour, like playing through the first part of it, and I mean, I finished it, but haven't speedrun it. I never, I can't figure out why I never got into it because I was like checking all the boxes. Like, I loved the story, I liked the gameplay, I loved like the Lancer fight at the end was awesome. And just never did. But my specific speedrunning story, I suppose I've never really, I've been one to, play games like, I don't know, Overwatch or Minecraft or all that stuff I played back in the day. And I liked the more fast-paced game modes. Like, I grew up playing a lot of like Minecraft Skywars or Hunger Games or whatever, and that's one where like you're racing against a bunch of people to get stuff as fast as possible, right? You get all your armor, you get your weapons, you fight people, and like everything's timed. So I guess I had that speedrunner gene, and that like I liked the thrill of having to beat something as fast as possible. But my first experience speedrunning wasn't until Getting Over It dropped on Steam in December 2017. I think it had been a part of the Humble Bundle 2 months prior, so people were already running it, and I had seen like you started seeing stuff like Markiplier playing it like the same month, and I got it like Christmas of 2017. I first beat the game in January of 2018, and then my friend posted that somebody had gotten like a 2.5 minute speed run in getting over it, which was like one of the first like viral ones on YouTube. It had like a couple million views because it was when like all the streamers and YouTubers, it was like a viral thing, right? Like you have like only up everyone's playing now, but at the time getting over it was like the rage game to be playing. It's making everybody mad and whatever. So me and my buddy Louise and one of my friends from high school all kind of made this competitive thing to where like for the next month, like throughout January of 2018, we were just gonna run it and get the lowest time possible. And I don't know what our specific time is, but we all got under 5 minutes really quick. And just I played it on and off throughout the years. But I guess for my speed runs now, I'm in love with that type of game, man. I love that it's a game that makes people aggravated. Yes, it takes a long time to beat. Sure, it's difficult, but you practice like any other game and it becomes like so zen mode for me. Like I can go right now, I can open up Steam, I can beat getting over it in under 3 minutes, like without breaking a sweat, no problem. And I think that's awesome that you can do that with most games. Like I know Sloth has run Pizza Tower recently, and I know like it would be like no struggle for him right now just to play even through casually and get a great time on it. Like that's what I really like about speedrunning is that if you're trying to beat your PB, it can get sometimes aggravating. And this applies to like all the other games I've played. I had started with getting over it, but since I've done Jump King, I did a little Pizza Tower because I was inspired by Sloth. I need to pick that up a little more, but Only Up and Pogo Stuck I've beaten, but I play in a speed run. Pretty much all of those are rage games, an exception for Pizza Tower. I like the very short form, like stuff like that. But yeah, it's like unless you're going for a PB and just really sucking that specific day at beating your PB, which really is the only frustrating thing once you've played it for a while. It really is like it makes me happy, man. It's just like it's a zen thing, and it makes the game easier in a sense if you're not going for a specific time. Just the fact that you've completed something 100 times, like each iteration you complete it, it makes it a little easier for you. And speedrunning's a thing, like you can compete against people, but I can just work towards my own time, right? Like I don't have to worry about what anybody else has. I can just do my own thing. I know that was probably a longer response than you wanted, but
that's okay. I just like hearing you guys talk about this hobby and how much it means to you guys. I want to,
and I know Soaring didn't. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I just wanted to follow up by asking you guys like, what is like you guys have all speedrun a variety of games. What is like the most? What is the speedrun that's like most dearest to you? Like, which record meant the most to you?
Ooh, that's I feel like I don't know if I can pinpoint a PB that meant the most to me, but considering the status that Pizza Tower is like kind of given me within like the past 6 months, I feel like that run in general definitely is like, I mean, it has to be number one for me just because of how much I definitely put into it, and I guess what happened like right after that. So I definitely think it holds a lot of merit to me.
Yeah,
so,
had a lot of impact on your channel, right?
It definitely impacted my Twitch and my YouTube, but it also just got me to talk to a ton of people like just in the speedrunning scene. I was very fortunate to like really be able to pick up Pizza Tower and really just come out of it with a whole lot more. So okay, like it became more than just like just it's like another PB that I really like. It became just
it changed your life.
In a way, yeah. It basically did. Like I can't thank Pizza Tower enough for that. Like yeah.
yeah. No, I think enough said. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I think kind of a two-part answer. The first one I'll say, and this could be because I think by default, speedrunners, when they get a new PB, like, recently, like their last PB, they could argue is like their favorite. I unfortunately didn't have a situation like Sloth, where it was like necessarily life changing or anything. But I will say, although I speedrun stuff, guys, I kind of suck at video games. Okay, I'm not the best gamer out there. Let's be honest.
Nonsense.
He's pretty damn good. He's just very humble.
Yeah, for me to do a pretty much theoretically perfect run for all the knowledge I have in a game at the time, right? Like it's not the most optimized run, but like I've learned like let's say like 5 skips in the game and I performed each skip consecutively perfectly with like no time loss is like unheard of for me. I just don't have the clutch gene where like people can lose like, 10, 15 seconds on a section and still get a PB. I don't. I'm like super strict about my timing. Anyways, I say all that to say last week I was playing Only Up. They have a very nice speedrunning community, by the way. Shout out to all the people in the Only Up speedrunning server. There was a guy I sat with in VC for an hour, and I'm like, hey, like people are getting pretty crazy PBs in this game now. Can you show me like what everybody's doing? It took him like an hour. It wasn't even that long. He just showed me like there's a skip you can do in Only Up where there's a dragon and you kind of hit this jump and land on its wing, and then you use like the slow motion feature in the game and go to the edge of the wing, and then it'll like kind of clip you upwards like really really fast, and you can get all the way to the end of the game, which is like the not the hardest skip but the most important in a run, as well as a couple others. And I did a run immediately after leaving VC. So I was streaming for like an hour. And almost immediately, it was like my 5th attempt for the day. I did everything. I mean, everything. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Like, I don't think I could have saved more time. Granted, I didn't know every skip. Okay, I'm not saying I had like world record. Nothing close to it. I had a 23-minute run. But I was the most proud of it in the sense that it was so consistently good that I don't think I could repeat that again to the same way that I did it, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know. It was just very special to me in the sense that like I didn't mess anything up, and that's rare for me. I usually like reset a lot. I'm like really quick to start it over, but it didn't happen, and I'm very happy for that. So I think, yeah, I don't know. I think that's my favorite run I've done. It's like a week ago. So
that was your like lightning in a bottle moment where everything got captured, like all the perfect moments and skips just all convened in one moment. Yeah, and
you have to think like I did a run before I knew all that, okay, and my game time was about 37 minutes. So for me to knock 14 whole minutes off that time just knowing 3 skips is like I don't know, man. Like you guys might not have the details of like looking at like what that would look like the difference, but I'm just like astonished that I hit that. I don't know. It's crazy to me.
It does sound like a very special moment. That's really cool to hear about your guys' experiences and maybe what you guys might consider like the highest highs of your speedrunning careers and stuff. I was like a little bit interested though. Like you guys do a lot of speedrunning in games. Do you guys ever feel like speedrunning mentality spills over to other things in your life? Like, do you try to look for time saves in your everyday lives, or maybe the most efficient way to do things? Yeah, because obviously I don't have the mindset of a speedrunner, but I
think absolutely. Like, at least with the mindset of like just like I guess hyper fixating on just like constant improvement. Because I mean that this has definitely been a me thing with like last year. I definitely got pretty hyper fixated on like constantly improving my personal best, and eventually you do hit a wall, and you kind of strive to just continue like getting that like constant like I guess growth, really, just like with keep hitting like breaking your PB. But like some days it's just not gonna happen. Some days like like you're gonna have like an off day, or just like you're probably just lacking some practice or something. And sometimes I definitely think it can like sour a mood for like a day or even like a few days, really. I mean, obviously it depending on like the circumstance in person or just like in anything, really. I mean, like you might feel different, but I definitely think after speedrunning video games for like the past 4 to 5 years, I definitely have had some of that mentality just kind of rub off into other things.
Yeah, I agree to an extent because it's like there is a good feeling you get just within the speedrunning world of getting a better time even if maybe you didn't think it was possible to begin with, or you're breaking boundaries that you didn't know were possible for yourself is really cool. And I don't know, I've it's not been a conscious decision, but I think ever since speedrunning there's been a little push, at least in the back of my head, that's like, hey, you can do this with, get better at games and stuff. Why don't you like divide some of this time with your actual, like real life stuff? And I actually decided a few days ago I was going to start reading, like when it's not required for schoolwork, because I've been in school for a while and I do a lot of reading. It's not like I don't read often, but just reading something for fun. Like I'm getting a sci-fi novel. It's actually called Wool by Hal Huey. It's the first book in the Silo series. And it's about an apocalypse where everybody's living in this giant underground silo. And it's like, I don't know, it has like Fallout vibes. It's like post-nuclear apocalypse. And like that stuff's cool to me. And I don't know why I haven't made a habit, because reading is like the most basic thing you can do. That's just like, it's going to improve your mental game, right? You're going to be like sharper, improve your vocabulary, all that stuff. Like there's no reason not to. And I want to start reading recreationally. So that's, I guess, the one thing that's kind of correlated for me to that is like I want to start doing just little things throughout my day. Doesn't even take a lot of time, but just to improve myself, like why not?
That's really cool. Like I was kind of wondering.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, like I was wondering, like, if you have strategies for improving at your times and stuff, do you ever use those strategies to improve like things that you do outside of just video games? And that's cool that you are trying to apply yourself in, like, for example, like reading and better yourself in other aspects of your life. That's really cool.
Did you want anywhere that people can find you, Jeremy, if they were more interested in your content or your stream?
I am mostly present on Twitch. I don't know how to do video editing, so I don't put out content like Aurora does. So only check out my YouTube channel if you are interested in seeing past VODs. But yeah, just check me out on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/Jermy145. It's like Jeremy, but missing one of the E's.
Yeah. We'll make sure we put all that stuff in the description for you, just your Twitch link so people can find you. And we really appreciate you sharing some knowledge today with us on the Basement Outback podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. And for YouTube, I know you say you don't do video editing, but I might find a way for you to be incorporated into one of my video essays. Who knows? Maybe my U-Rank video I want to make will have a Jermy145 appearance.
The faded crossover.
Yeah. It'll be the Aurora verse. All the characters showing up and intersecting.
We're branching out. It's gonna get crazy, dude. All right, yeah. Thank you everybody for watching this episode of the Basement Outback podcast, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care.
Rah!
Bye.